You go, I go, you stay, I stay. One song to sing.
What is up, guys? Got another OneSet Q&A. You guys posted your questions on OneSet, and now we're going to answer them here. Got Tankster here.
What's going on, guys?
So there was a ton of good questions. Had to narrow it down to the best ones that I think that majority of you guys will benefit from hearing the answers. So let's do it. First question is from CaliFit916. When you IF, do you stick to an eating window, for instance, like 16 to 8, or do you just push off your first meal of the day and once you start eating, keep going till your macros are attained? Thanks for the inspiration and motivation you all give. So when I did intermittent fasting, IF, when I was cutting, my window, my fasting window and my eating window would vary every day based on my schedule. The main reason I like doing intermittent fasting is because it's convenient. I'm not stressed out about when to eat. I'm not timing my meals. I'm not trying to eat every 2 to 3 hours. It's just a convenience factor for me. To answer that question, my window's changed every day. And as my macros got lower in my cut, I like to fast as long as I could, mentally and physically, and then eat. You know, the longer I fasted, the more food I can fit in my fasting window. I mean, my feeding window.
So, Bruce Wakeling, what's your motivation for when people put you down, or when you tell people your goals and they laugh as if you will never reach them? What do you do to stay positive and motivated? Honestly, just ignore them and remind yourself positivity. You want to keep going and just push away those negative factors or vibe or.
It's a good answer, but look at it in a positive way. If you're doing your thing and you're being yourself, and you're being true to yourself, you're not lying, you're not deceiving people, and you start getting hate, look at that as you made it. You're not going to succeed until you have a hater. So be happy. You know, you're not going to be able to please everybody. Somebody's always going to be able to criticize and say something bad about what you're doing. But if majority of your following and your fans and stuff like that are saying positive things, just go off that. There's always going to be that 1% of people that are trying to put you down and not believing what you're doing. Be yourself. Be true to yourself, and it'll be easy for you to kind of fade that out and just block it out. All right, Luis Zieto. Sorry if I butchered your names. I'm gonna try my best. Tips on shifting from bodybuilding to powerlifting. In my opinion, I don't think you have to shift from bodybuilding to powerlifting unless you are looking to compete as a powerlifter. Unless you're trying to be a competitive powerlifter and you want elite numbers, you want to break records. But I think the majority of you guys that follow me, you kind of like me. You want both, aesthetics, bodybuilding, and you want strength. So you don't necessarily have to shift. You kind of want to dab in it. You want to dab and bring it into your arsenal. Okay, you want to have it in your tools. Bodybuilding and powerlifting, to me, in my opinion, work hand in hand together. They complement each other, because as a natural bodybuilder, you need to be getting stronger. You need to be, you need to be repping more weight. You need to be hitting your compounds. You need to get stronger. You need to focus on progressive overload, and powerlifting will help with progressive overload. It get you stronger, so in the future you will be able to rep more weight. Your hypertrophy work will be heavier, so you're going to continue to grow. You don't have to shift. You can just add it in. Zach Donnelly, how do you learn and maintain proper form on movements? How do you do any additional mobility besides? And do you do any additional mobility besides just warming up before a workout? How do you learn and maintain proper form on movements? I'm going to tell you guys how I did it. Okay, I used YouTube. I used fellow gym goers. It was kind of just taking a bunch of advice, a bunch of things from different places and putting it together for me. Kind of learning how how the movements felt, if there was any pain, if there was, if it was awkward, and kind of just putting it together. You're always going to have that form police criticizing your form, but I think there's general rules to movements, but at the end of the day, you just want to avoid a style of form that's going to injure you, okay? So you just gotta, there's a lot of resources. You can check out other YouTubers, you can see what they're saying about correct form. There's books, there's, what else is there? Really YouTube is your main source. Just check out your credible YouTubers, see what they're saying about form, and then you try it out yourself. And if it feels right, if your leverages feel good, then do what feels good for you. But there's just like red flags when it comes to form. Like your bench press. If your elbows are coming out, flaring up high, and you feel pain, you're gonna feel pain. Tweak it. See what other YouTubers are saying. See what other people are saying, your friends, whatever, and then just put it together and find what works best for you. When it comes to additional mobility, besides just warming up before a workout, we like to, it changes every day. It's just really based on how we're feeling. If certain parts of our body are tight, we'll work on that. But we have a bunch of tools in the campus. We have foam rollers, rumble rollers, lacrosse balls. We have
bands, hip circles.
Yeah, so I don't really show it on all the videos, but sometimes you'll get a quick glimpse of what we do. But majority of the time, we're just warming up with bands for the upper body, hip circle for lower body, just a lot of dynamic movements, I guess. So yeah, we don't do much, but if we do, it's pre and like post, foam rolling, lacrosse balling, stuff like that to relieve some tension.
And also, I know many of you guys probably have a smartphone, so you can, adding on top of how to practice keeping proper form, most of you guys have this, so record yourself, look back at it, and just tweak little things if you can see them.
That's good, yeah, I forgot about that. Filming, that's originally why I started filming for YouTube, is form checks. Like, film your stuff, different angles, and you'll be able to critique your form, and you can always send it to me. You guys can do that. Snap me, email me, and I'll do that for you guys.
I'm gonna butcher this name, but Riacho 24. Tinkster, how are you liking massage therapy school? And Raymond, how do you like being his guinea pig?
I love it!
I'm really liking this school. I like how it's really hands-on learning, and it just makes understanding anatomy much easier.
Yeah, I can't complain, right? I kind of pushed you towards that. You said you wanted to do it. I bought you a table. I'm like, all right, we'll have this here, and you practice on me. I'll be your dummy. Rustinator, what's your macros right now? I know it's progressing surplus, but what is a good total of your macros where you want to be? My macros right now, honestly, I think I'm in a good place. I think I'm in a small surplus, and I'm probably going to stop climbing at this point. Right now, anywhere between, I'm kind of doing a range. I'm 400 to 450 carb. I'm like 70 to like 90 fat. Protein's 150 to like 165. So I'm pretty much where I want to be. If anything, I'll have like 1 or 2 days of the week where I go eat out with the family, the friends, have a date night with Sonia, and that'll put me in a surplus. So I think what I'm going to do is stick to my range of macros, and then have those days where I just don't really track, or I go over, and that'll put me in a small surplus. Matt Grego, what's some basic tips for running a successful business? What helped your YouTube channel grow in the beginning stages? There's so many tips I can give you guys. This can be like a whole entire video. Running a successful business. First off, you have to find something that you love. Once you find that passion, it will come so much easier. And as a kid, as a younger person, you need to be open to trying new things. It's gonna take you a bit of your life to find out what your passion is, what you enjoy, what you're good at. That's the first thing. You need to find what you love and what you're good at. Okay, and everything else will come into play. It'll just fall into place. once you have that business open, you need to be on top of it. You need to be ready to work. You need to be ready to grind. The saying that I tell you guys, the grind doesn't know what day of the week it is. You get what you put in, and you need to continue to evolve. You need to continue to try to put yourself out of business. So you don't want to be put out of business by another company or another person. You want to put yourself out of business. You want to come up with new ideas, something better each year, each month. And then organization comes into play. It works for me, but again, what works for me might not work for you. You need to find what works for you. But organization is key for me. It allows me to balance my business, my training, my family, everything. What helped your YouTube channel grow in the beginning stages? I don't know. I think consistency. I think that's the main thing. That's what I drive. That's what I stand for, is consistency. I think consistency is king in any avenue of life. And I was consistent with it, and I evolved. Okay, each year or each month, I found different ways to make things better. Whether it was the camera, editing style. I mean, you got to just try a bunch of different things, and you need to find what you like and what works best for you. But also you want to ask your subscribers what they want, what they need. You need to have something. You need content to be able to give to your subscribers in order for them to stay and come back. Okay, you need to give something. You give, and your subscribers will give back to you. Gabe Fit, how do you maintain a lean physique? It's tough. Okay, the past year and a half, I did it for myself. I did it to apply what I've learned, what I know, and I did it for a good year and a half, maybe even longer. You guys watched it. And some people are just blessed with those genetics that they stay lean and they don't overeat, or you're very active, you play team sports, and your activity demand is very high, and you have a fast metabolism where there's just that sweet spot of activity and food. Your metabolism is healthy, and your activity is right there, and it just matches. But for somebody like myself, I can't maintain a shredded lean physique without trying. And when I say trying, I'm counting my macros every day. I am training 6 days a week, and everything is accounted for. I know how much I'm burning. I know how much I'm intaking. I'm saying no to times where friends and family or want to go out and drink. There's a balance. You can only do that so much. But it's possible. I've done it, and I've seen other people do it. It's not healthy. Maintaining a lean physique that doesn't want to be lean, you're forcing it to be lean. You're not gonna be able to make gains, and hormonally, emotionally, physically, you're not gonna be 100%, unless you're that genetic monster that just stays like that, or you're Michael Phelps and you have that expenditure every day. Your life activity demands are up there. Fluff to buff 92. Why do sumos on leg day? Want to answer this one?
Yeah. So sumos is you're mainly using your posterior muscles of your legs, your hamstrings and your glutes. So that's why we put it on leg day.
And the conventional, it's a little bit of legs, but majority of it's your back, your lower back.
Yeah.
So we do sumos on leg day because it's a leg movement to us. Posterior chain. Indie, knee, fit guy. How did you and Tankster meet?
So I bought a 24-hour fitness membership, and it was his home gym, and I knew Dill back then.
My little brother.
Yeah.
And he used to train with me.
So then I would say hi to Dill every time I passed by because we were friends. And then Raymond, I was squatting next to him one day, and then Raymond was giving me some tips on how to fix my form and everything. And then he basically asked me to join them to work out one day, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? and then it just pretty much clicked from there.
He caught my eye. He was next to us and he had like a notepad. He was serious. He looked like he was trying to make gains on his own. I could tell already by his demeanor. He was like really shy and like soft spoken. But you know, I just gave him some tips. He was right there. I'm like, try this, try that, and he did it. And I don't know, he just kind of reminded me of myself when I was younger. A little less shy though. Yeah, there was just something about him that I really liked. He had a very positive vibe, and I just liked that he seemed like he was a hard worker, and he was very serious about his training. You know, when you see kids alone at the gym, most time kids won't be alone at the gym. It takes a certain character in a person to be going to the gym by themselves, because most people are intimidated, especially when you're young. But he was by himself and he was serious. He looked like he didn't know what he was doing, and that's why I gave him some tips. And then after that, yeah, I asked him to work out with us. He worked out with us, and then it just became a regular thing, and then we just became friends. I look at him as like my son, my little brother, also my friend, my eating buddy, my employee, my assistant, my gym manager. So I give him a lot of key roles, and it's turned into me just being his mentor, teaching him life, teaching him training, teaching him girls, you know, just everything. So a lot of you guys don't know that Tankster, he was lacking a father figure in his younger years. Just a lack of, you know, somebody giving him responsibility, teaching him discipline, stuff like that. And that's some inside stuff that you guys, I've mentioned before, but since we share everything with you guys pretty much, it's like I almost want you guys to understand our relationship. You know, I'm hard on him like I am on myself. I'm hard on him like he was my son. I'm just trying to teach him values just to succeed in life. It's not easy, especially as, you know, a kid these days with everybody just messing around, just wanting to party, all that like short-term, temporary happiness. Like Temecula, that's what it's all about. You know, I grew up here, and I know a lot of the kids that grew up here with me, and a lot of the guys are just spinning their wheels, doing the same stuff, just especially when I used to go out when I was younger. And I don't want that for Tankster. I want him to succeed. I want him to grow. I want him to make something of himself. So that's why I'm hard on him. And the thing is he's very appreciative of it. He's coachable. He whatever I tell him, he takes it and he changes it for the better. And that's why I'll never give up on him. I love you.
Love you.
How do you and Brandon remain so positive? What are your motivations? This is a very popular question, and my mentality on motivation has kind of changed the past like year, and it's a very fun question, because to me, motivation comes from all different places for each person, and you can't judge somebody by what they're motivated by. Okay, there could be a kid that's motivated to get, you know, aesthetic, bringing sexy back for freaking the girls. You know, there could be the guy that wants to build a business, build a brand, build a name, and build his physique up. There could be a guy that just wants to get strong. You know, it's going to be different for each person. You can't. There's no one to say this is what should motivate you. That's why I think this is a fun question. But for me, what motivates me is helping you guys. You know, making an impact on the world. I'm trying to change the world. Even if it's just one person, I'm making an impact on somebody's life. And over the years, it's slowly grown to the point where more and more people have told me their stories, told me that I've helped them in some way, told them that I motivate them. That motivates me. Helping others motivates me. Helping this guy, helping members of my gym, helping my employees, helping people get better, that motivates the hell out of me.
How do you stay positive? Just keep a smile on your face.
What motivates you?
Remembering the end goal, or not the end goal, but the long-term goal with short goals in mind. Just remember that goal and shoot for it.
Is that what motivates you?
Well, this guy.
No. Where does your motivation come from? What do you like seeing? Do you like seeing your progress getting stronger? Do you like seeing yourself getting bigger? What motivates you? See, that's a good question. You have to be able to identify what motivates you if you want to be motivated. a lot of people say, how do you stay motivated? You have to find what motivates you. Identify what motivates you. It's either strength, PRs, getting bigger, getting the attention. Like, you have to identify what motivates you to stay motivated. I think that is key. So what motivates you?
Progression in life and in the gym. So I just want to keep going until I can't go anymore. Until basically when I can't walk, should I say.
Okay. All right, Florian84, what advice would you give to someone who wants to open their own gym? Be ready to work. It's gonna take work. It's gonna take time. And be different. Okay, it was easy for me to be different with the campus because this guy was already established. Pink, that's different. Nobody wants to rock pink, and it was easy also because Temecula is not big on powerlifting and strength training. We are a commercial gym-based town. It's very small. There's not many gyms with this type of training style. You come in here and there's no machines. It's just compound movement based gym. And it caters to a certain crowd, right? So that's why we stay alive. But other than that, if you're trying to open up a commercial gym, you better be ready to market, advertise, because you're going to be in competition with the other big commercial gym chains. And that's going to be tough because, to be honest with you, if I was looking for a commercial gym to train at, I would probably go to 24 Hour Fitness because they're established, they're well known, and they're everywhere. You pay for an all club membership and you have access to all their gyms nationwide. So if you're trying to open up a gym like the campus, then be ready to market and push out content about your gym to hype it up. And get your finances set, get your finances planned. Either you're gonna get a loan or you're gonna work and save the money up. And you guys are probably asking me how. I've had a lot of you guys ask, how did you come up with the money for the campus? I worked for it. I saved it. I didn't let my other sources of income slow down while I was building it, so I self-funded it. And really, all it takes is leasing a spot, and then the main chunk of change is the gym equipment. And then office stuff if you need an office. My main advice is get ready to work and find something different. Find some value in what you want to open. Find a client. Find a market for it. To be honest with you guys, like the campus, I never intended it for it to be profitable. It was kind of just my home base, and that's really what it is still. It pays for itself and some, but it's not there to make me money. Last question. Josh Zenarosa. In an Instagram comment, you once said that the only drug you've done is marijuana. So I was just wondering what your input on that and fitness training is. Thanks, Coach. This is a touchy question. But I'm going to tell you from my experience, okay, and from friends that I've seen do it and try to train. For me, marijuana, weed, it impairs your mind. Whatever you say, it's a drug that impairs your mind. Okay, if you're not at 100%, like your mind state's not 100%, it's gonna impair your freaking training. Okay, training takes a lot of mental focus, and to me, mental focus is one of the key factors when you're training. And if a drug is gonna impair your mind, I don't think it is smart. Have I ever smoked and was high training? No, I would not. I couldn't even function. I'd be too relaxed. I'd be too lazy. I would just want to eat. Okay, when I was a kid, I used to get the munchies. I would kill like a freaking whole restaurant. I could eat a cow. So, from my experience, in my opinion, I don't think it's smart. I think you got to kind of choose one. Hey, maybe different for somebody else, but from my experience, from what I see my friends get, stuck on smoking weed, like it changed them. It slowed down their life. It slowed down their drive. It slowed down their mentality. Would I do it? No. So guys, that's gonna wrap up the Q&A, the OneSet Q&A. I thank you guys for participating. Thank you for throwing down your questions, and thanks for having fun.
Yeah.
So we'll do it again. I'll announce it on OneSet.
You go, I go, you stay, I stay. One song to sing.